one of the things that I wish on anyone, everyone, this isn't just, you don't have to lose a child. Like I feel like I need to like put a warning every time I say anything. If you've experienced trauma, you need to get help. You need to get mental help. Your physical help may be healing. You may be going to doctors. You may be getting all this stuff checked out. And you may end up as good as you can be after having a baby, because we know we don't go back to what we were before. But, but it's like whatever it's going to be, or you go through different things to physically. But what we forget is like there's a whole mental side that you went through, a whole emotional side of like, what you expected, what you didn't expect, what went a direction that was scary as hell, what you blacked out and blurred out and you don't remember, right? Because all those things are trauma. It is a huge, huge trauma. And I think a lot of us don't get birth trauma is really what it is. They don't get birth trauma help. And right. I've heard of people trying to get like help, and they've gone to like therapists, and the therapists are like, this isn't a thing. And I'm like, this is definitely a thing. If you go to a therapist and they tell you it's not a thing, find another therapist, because right. There's other ones that they know this is a thing. Don't go to a guy then, go to a woman, because women do know, like they know what this is like. There's so many of us that walk around with this birth trauma. And it's hard for me to say to people like, go see somebody, go to your doctor and ask for, if you need to be put on medications to get through certain things, like you get like anxiety, you get depression. There's like a lot more fear going on. There's a lot of things happening, and it's deeper than that. Like PTSD is deep. You don't just always just go into baby blues, or, you go to postpartum depression. You can go into total disconnect. You can disconnect from everything. You have no bonding with your baby. You're feeling really out of your body. You're really disconnected from the world. You feel very isolated. There is so many angles that this can go into, like a different category of what is going on with you. And people are not getting help for that. People don't know to be even aware of it. And you go to the doctor and they say, well, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. Like, you don't even know what's going on with you. So it's like, I think birth trauma is a big thing, because then time goes on. Maybe we get through it. Maybe we don't. However we push through, we're like, yeah, I'm strong. I pushed through it. You get pregnant again and everything comes back. You start having nightmares about stuff that you forgot even happened to you. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole nother world of things, because that birth trauma never left your body. It's been in there that whole time, just festering,
Right. And you don't necessarily know that that's not normal. So if this is the first time that you've experienced birth trauma, if this is the first time you've given birth, you don't know what's normal unless somebody's telling you something's not normal. Like I didn't know that. Well, I knew about postpartum depression because everybody kind of knows about postpartum depression, because it's coming to light more and more often now. People are hearing about it. People are finally talking about stuff. But the other stuff, I had no idea that, what I was feeling, the anxiety that I was feeling, and, just, I didn't know that wasn't normal. People don't know, unless you have a birth that's not complicated or, is like textbook, you're not going to know that what you've experienced isn't normal.
Yeah.
So, and it's the thing that people aren't talking about.
Yeah. And it's true. And I think that is where, like, Ange isn't here today, but she normally asks people in like VBAC, she'll be like, why do you want a vaginal birth so bad? She actually asks people that all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, she's like, what is your goal? Like, what is it that you're really after? And then as it comes out, it's not actually a vaginal birth like that they're actually after. It's always something else. There's always actually a hidden thing of what they actually want. I mean, some women want like baby right afterwards. So they think the only way that you're going to have that is by having a vaginal birth. Like immediately baby's going to come out, just be put right on your chest. That's not always true. People have vaginal births all the time and don't get to see their kids sometimes for days, for a week. Right. You know what I mean? Like they don't get to see them at all. They don't even get to touch them. So right. You don't know what you're going to get. So it's like, I mean, I had a C-section and we were offered, because we were like, okay, we did a gentle one. So they offered us, because skin to skin, is part of a gentle C-section, was baby comes out, we do the cord, you want to go right here. Given my history of my experience, I was like, we would feel more, and my husband was agreeing with this, was we would feel more comfortable to have our child checked out,
right,
to make sure that our kid is good, because you could give me my kid and I'm freaked out, I'm emotional, I've got all these things, I wouldn't notice things going on because I've got to go through all these like steps of grief and pain and, and joy and everything all in this one moment. Go to the professionals, let them check the kid out, and then give him to me and we'll do skin to skin. And that's what we did. That is exactly what we did, which worked out perfectly. And I was very happy because those words of like, your baby's doing good, this is good. Those things were very important to me. Like, as much as, yes, you want your child to be attached to you and whatever. And I know that's like a big deal. A lot of people are like, I need my child like on me and all stuff. And I need to start breastfeeding. That's great. But you also need your child to be okay.
Yep.
You need your kid to be okay enough to breastfeed, okay enough to be with you and not be hooked up to a bunch of stuff or whatever. Breathing. They need to be breathing. They need to be like, crying. They need to be doing different things. So they need to be the right color. Like, there's a lot of things going on. And so I'm totally about that. Like, just make sure we're good kind of thing. And the golden hour is a huge selling point for home birth and birth centers and all that stuff. And I do not believe in the golden hour. The golden hour is a lie. It is the biggest scam ever. It is a market tool that they use to be like, I'm going to give you this magical unicorns and butterflies and rainbows and, what I'm saying? Bubbles. Stuff is going to be happening from this golden magical hour. And it's just, that's not how it is. Because I had my home birth. Now I'll tell you about my golden hour. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my golden hour was my kid getting worked on for almost an hour. Right. So, yeah. I'm like, there's golden hour. Like, you don't know that first hour of their life could mean nothing to having them for the rest of their life. So I feel like when people like do this whole, like, I am going to totally go against hospitals and doctors and I'm going to do it out here. And I'm not going to do that. And I am going to have my vaginal birth, even though they want me to have a C-section or, all these different things that you hear. They're like, I'm doing it because I want that golden hour. And it's just totally going to make all my birth trauma go away and stuff like that. It does not. It does not make any of that go away. And I had a very healing, great experience, I would say, but I don't even think the word is healing. The reason I say healing was having an emergency C-section and a planned C-section. A planned C-section is amazing. Like, you heal faster. That's why I say it's healing. I don't say that magically I had this birth experience and then somehow a unicorn came out and was like, I'm going to take away all your grief and trauma. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just a magical thing that happened. No, none of that happened. Nothing like that at all. It was very normal. It was a normal birth. But what happened was that it was such a healing, different experience. The trauma that I went through from being in labor and then having an emergency C-section and then having all this stuff happen, it was like my body was physically bruised and it took me a lot longer to heal. So when I had a planned one, like literally once I went to the doctor for my check, you didn't even know I had a C-section scar. Like, it is that amazing. Like, you're just like, I'm like, there's my healing part of it. The healing was physically, I went way back, to what I would be normal. Not normal after that, but as far as you can be. But the first time was completely different. There was no going back. There's no healing. There's nothing. Your body's just messed up. And they're like, well, deal with it. That's your body. So that magical golden hour is a load of crap. And I can't tell you, even with my planned C-section, let's see. He went over for, it probably was minutes. It probably didn't take them very long to check him out and, whatever they did with him. And then they gave him to me. I had him. I couldn't tell you what happened in that golden hour. You know what I mean? He was on me. The nurses were there. Nothing happened that was out of the normal, because after that, you have things to do. You have to feed them and you have to change them. You got to take care of yourself. So that golden magical hour, I don't know what the heck they were talking about because I mean, I had it. I don't know
Right.
what it means.
Right.
So,
they pushed it at my hospital too. Like it came, like, I can't remember. I guess they sent this like whole packet of stuff that you would get if you were doing hospital birthing classes anyway. So they sent you like this manual thing. And like there's this whole section about the golden hour. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, yeah, he was on me, but I was asking questions. Nobody was answering me. I didn't know what else was going on. I have pictures, you know, from that of me all like swollen and ridiculous looking. But it wasn't this whole thing of where like the first 7 minutes are so important and then gradually they'll start rooting around because they're ready to breastfeed and all of these things are natural and they're going to know what to do. I was like, can someone just tell me what's happening and whether or not I can breastfeed? Can somebody just answer a question for me and not just, you know, and that one nurse who had no business being an L&D nurse, in my opinion, was just like, I'm helping the doctor right now. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be helping me. I'm asking you a question.